Congratulations, quarter finalists. How does that sound?
Yeah, nice. It was nice to get a lead in the first leg coming into Stamford Bridge, and a bit scrappy at times, but we've kept the clean sheet, we've won the game, and yeah, safely into the quarters.
You showed power, you showed persistence for that goal. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I seen a little gap and tried to jink my way through, and look, managed to scramble it through. It was a bit of nice endeavour, and when I got in front of goal, I just thought, let me pick my spot, and luckily it nestled into the bottom corner.
They don't always come off. You need a bit of confidence, don't you, to make sure that you can actually follow through with that? Yeah,
like, to be honest, in training, after training most days, I'm practicing finishes like that on my left foot, whipping it into the far corner, so that's just a product of repetition that I do on a daily basis, so I'm glad that it actually came off in the game as well.
That first half was quite challenging. At moments, did you think, oh, you know, this is not going to be our night again? Did it feel as if they were difficult to break down?
Yeah, I'll be honest, like, we prepared for all last week thinking they were going to play a back four, and then they surprised us last week playing a back five, and again tonight playing a back five. And look, I don't care what team you play, it's tough to break down a team where it's 5-4-1, and it's just about being patient and picking your spots and not getting frustrated. And I feel like we did that, and in the second half we got a couple more opportunities and chances, and thankfully we scored.
You're no stranger to this competition, right? And now these fans, they're excited, they're delighted the fact that they're through, but there's going to be an expectation for you guys to win this thing. Are they right to have that expectation?
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea's won the Champions League, won the Europa League. It'd be stupid as not to say that we should win this, and that's no disrespect to any of the opponents, that's just the belief and the quality we have in the squad. So fair play to Copenhagen, they're a good team, and they challenged us, but we're into the quarters, and now look, three more rounds, and hopefully we can lift in that trophy.
Congratulations tonight, well done.
Thank you, cheers.
The last 8. Those are the stats from Chelsea's game, Ennie and Joe. Much improved picture. We talked about how little they created in the first half, Ennie. No shots of any type, not even off target, and then a whole lot more in the second half. Even if it wasn't blowing the house down, it was better.
Yeah, I do wonder whether, you know, the fact that there is so many changes to personnel, that there's a sort of lack of momentum that comes from the first game, certainly the second half of the first game into the first half of the second game. Because you wonder why it's so different, you know, no shots in the first half, and then all of a sudden, you know, 11 in the second half. So I think Chelsea have to figure that out a little bit. How do you sort of consistently, they've got Arsenal at the weekend, how do we start better rather than letting teams sort of frustrate them, and then you've got to, you know, pull out a big performance in the second half?
Would you respond to a shakedown at half-time? Would a manager do that these days?
Yeah, well, I think they do. There's obviously methods of doing it. There's obviously ways of doing it. You know, coming in, throwing the kettle round and throwing sandwiches at everyone is probably not allowed. There's HR departments now, and, you know, and things like that. But you still sometimes, no matter who you are, sometimes you just need a good shout in that and a wake-up call. Because remember, these lads, and all footballers, you know, you have to peak. You say you're going to this stage of the competitions, you have to peak 50 to 60 times a year on any given night. And some nights, for whatever reason, you're human beings. If 3 or 4 or 5 of you are distracted, you don't know what's gone on, that affects the performance. And then, you know, an expectant crowd getting on the top of the team. So the manager's job is to just assess the room, decide what's needed here, what's required. And sometimes it is just an emotional one, wake up. There was no tactical things, a change of personnel, bring some experienced players on. And I think that was it was as simple as that tonight.
Yeah.
There was nothing tactically needed. Chelsea were better in every department. Every player, man for man, was better. They just needed to step up, and they did it. But if they play like that against Arsenal, even for 45 minutes, the game's gone, because Arsenal will punish her. So that's what these young players have got to realise. You know, you can't go a whole season being pitch perfect, but when you switch off, make sure you give yourself enough ability and time to turn it round.
The goal, when it did come, was good, wasn't it? A bit of hunting and then a bit of quality from Dewsbury-Hall.
Yeah, I'm happy for Dewsbury-Hall because he's sort of been on the fringes, but he's a great player, and, you know, I think, you know, he'll gain confidence from this. But I love the way Cucurella wins it back there. You know, that's a full-back right up there, winning the ball back, counter-pressing, leads to an opportunity, and I think great feet from Dewsbury-Hall. Gets a little bit lucky, I think, with the little sort of deflection, but good initial sort of quick feet. And then I think once you're in this position, your eye is wide and open. and it's a great finish.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if Lionel Messi scores that goal, the world will stop. You know, it's great play, isn't he? He's handling the ball in short areas here, low centre of gravity, that touch there just to take it away. And then now you have to put, the silencer on, calm, and he's whipped it into the side netting. And I'm really pleased for him. We've watched him in this competition, particularly, and one of them lads, every game he's affected the game. He's done something in every game where you go, he's a player. And I think there's a future for him at Chelsea. Big competition.
And how, though? How does he get into Maresca's Premier League
team?
team?
It's tough for him, isn't it? Because he's right in there with Cole Palmer, and that's his position. So, is he a Conference League player? Is he going to break into that Premier League team? I think that's the question mark for a lot of these lads. It's like, how do I get into that Premier League starting lineup every week?
Yeah, exactly that. Listen, he's too good a player to be playing 10, 15 games a year at his age, Maybe in 7, 8, 9 years' time, maybe that might suit him, and if you're coming down there, but he needs to play football because he's such a good, talented footballer. And the decision will probably be his at the end of the season. Whether what does he do? Does he go and find his football somewhere else, or does he stick out for him? I just look at every time I watch him, I like him, and I think to myself, as a manager, as a coach, you'd want him in your team. I think he could play at a very, very high level. Big competition in the midfield at Chelsea, but always impressed with him.
Yeah, as you rightly point out, a hard job to get past Cole Palmer, who you presume has that shirt. But he looks a player, got minutes tonight in this competition, back in the squad for these European games, but he's kind of looking for something, isn't he?
Do you know what it is, Matt? He must be thinking, what am I doing different to what I did before? Because it doesn't look different. He's still getting in them pockets. He's still taking players on. He's, putting in great balls like this. Obviously, it's not his fault that it's a poor finish, but this is, if you look 6 months ago, this is the same positions he's getting in, and that goes in. So, as a forward, it's quite frustrating, isn't it? Because we can sit here and analyse it, but sometimes it's just just pot's luck, and it's just, it's just not, you're not getting the rub of the green. Again, here, I think he's so desperate to score, he should release it, shouldn't he? But again, 4 or 5 months ago, that's going in.
4 or 5 months ago, he's already scored 1 or 2 and he's releasing it to the young lad. Do you know what I mean?
True. Which he probably should have done tonight, you thought.
But listen, this is part of his journey.
Yeah.
Like, what he's done in the last year, 18 months at Chelsea, that's ridiculous what he's done. He's going for a little dry spell, and this is when he needs to just... He'll understand it. He'll have loads of spells like this in his career, not as many as other players because he's a top player. But, you sort of... He's had a little pillow tonight and he'll be going, I should have done that, I should have passed it, should have done... And he just needs to just be calm, smooth...
But he doesn't strike me, Joe, as the kind of lad that, will lose sleep over it.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He strikes me as like, listen, I got this. I think that would be worse if he's overthinking it and he looks tense, but he doesn't look like it's bothering him too much.
Yeah, that's true.
Could either of you just leave a game behind
bothered.
5 minutes later?
Oh, no.
Well, you have to think back on it. And...
I got very bothered.
Yeah.
If I didn't score.
I think as well, when you don't know what's going on in his head. Do you know what I mean? To see, he looks like the coolest man in the room, don't he? Sure. Like he's never going to be bothered about anything. But I still, you don't know. It could be affecting him. But what he needs to know is, if I was a senior player, listen, you're going through a little dry spell. It will end.
Yeah,
it will end.
It's 10 games now, isn't it?
Whenever it does.
Yeah.
But it will end, hopefully on Sunday against Arsenal. But he just needs to be very... I know, it sounds mad saying Cole Palmer needs to be calm, but he does. He just needs to be...
I don't know if he can be any calmer.
Yeah, I know.
But I think that's his strength.
Yeah.
I think that's why we shouldn't panic, because he is sort of such a calm guy and has such composure that it will come. And when it comes, it will make up for it all the 9, 10 games he's not scored, because he's just got that quality. He's too good for it to last too long.
Yeah, very true.
Do you like what you see of Tariq George? He's had a few...
I really do. I've heard his name. I've watched him. We've watched him in this tournament. He's a ball carrier.
Yeah.
He makes the difference. Look, great feet, stop, start, drives away. He's very well balanced. He's like... He reminds me a little bit like Anthony Gordon in the way he's lanky, he can run, comes inside... Quick feet. Do you know what? I would imagine you're talking to opposition fullbacks and they see his name on the team sheet, they'll be like, not tonight. I could do without this kid. Do you know what I mean? He's very, 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 just talented, and he's one of them. He's another one off the conveyor belt. And, and I think he's going to play a part from now to the end of the season then.
It looks like he's growing into it. You know, you can see the young lads when they look a sort of bit of deer in headlights when they initially get their opportunity. Tyreek George looks like, you know, he's sort of he's growing into the shirt. He's getting in little pockets. He's trying new things. So it's really good to see. And I'm proud to see Chelsea giving young lads a chance. You know, because it's not always sort of part of club ethos to do that. It hasn't always been, I think, at Chelsea, but now it is, and it's good to see these guys. You've got to look at their name, you think, who's that?
I know.
And they're coming through and coming through, and the manager's giving them a chance. It's
quite right. 16-year-old Reggie Walsh didn't get on, but 17-year-old Jenas Antwi did.
We're just wondering whether his parents were Phil Collins fans, whatever his name like Genesis.
We were, and where he gets his haircuts. We were wondering on that as well. Not that we're down with the kids. Well, Eddie might be. Me and Joe definitely not.
But listen. I don't know much about him, Matt, but what I do know is I know how diligent they are in Chelsea's academy and how they are in developing not just a player but a human being as well. And then that's one thing I found when I was in the doors there. I was like, there's so much work that goes into helping these young men progress. So it's great for the club and it's great for all football. These young players, brilliant.
Yeah. OK, opportunities may come in the quarter-final stage.
But sum it up for me if you can.
Yeah, thanks. It's important, you know, quarter-final. And now the target is, you know, next step, that is the semi-final. And yeah, overall, 180 minutes, no easy. But I think between the two games, we deserve. First half, again, like the first leg, we struggled a bit more. Then half-time, we changed a little bit something, we adjust something, and I think second half we were much better.
Can you put your finger on why the tempo maybe and energy wasn't where you wanted it to be in that first half? And then obviously, as you say, you made the changes, it seemed to work.
No, it's quite easy because against team that, you know, they are 11 players in their side, you struggle to attack quick, so you need patience. But I think second half, as I said, we were much better.
What is it for you, do you think, now? The target is, because again it's about the fans looking for trophies, looking for success. I'm assuming you are on the same page as that, thinking that this trophy technically should be yours.
Exactly, we are on the same page, first of all because this club always won trophy in the past, and we need to try to do our best to achieve the target this season. And it's completely normal that they are looking for target, they are looking for trophies. The same thing that is the reason why we are working every day, is to give them and to give to the club some important title.
Arsenal, of course, up next. For you, a little bit more familiarity, and in that respect, does it make the game a little bit easier to know what to expect?
No, anyway, see, you can expect something, but it's you know, it's derby, it's Premier League, it's Arsenal, so it will be a tough game, but we're gonna try to do our best to win the game.
Well done tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It is Arsenal at the Emirates on Sunday for Chelsea. Spurs after the international break. It might be Legia Warsaw in the quarterfinals of this competition. They've gone ahead of Molde in extra time. So as it stands, it will be a scouting trip to Poland, potentially, because, of course, the final is in the same country.
OK.
Not the same city, but...
Yeah, it's a shame. We could have scouted a few restaurants, couldn't we?
We're not there for that, Joe. It's all work for us.
No, listen, that is a tough run for Chelsea. You know, you look at the competition for the 4th and the 5th place for the Champions League is it could be 6 or 7 teams. It's right the way down it goes. So you have to be on it, and the manager's going to have to manage his squad. One, they need players back from injury. Chelsea, your Jacksons, we miss him so much with his athleticism. I never thought I'd say that. But because I thought Nkunku would step up, you know. So I think it's going to have to be. I think the next 2 games are crucial. If Chelsea can take 4 points from them, I think you're in business. You don't want to be sort of falling away from this and then having to compete in the quarterfinals and possibly the semi-finals of this competition and then stretch the players. So Chelsea need to keep. They're in there at the moment. They're in 4th place. They need to stick in there.
Stay there.
Stick in there.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough.
Almost certainly be 5 places, given the coefficients boost tonight with the English teams going through. Chelsea are a trophy-winning machine. They have been for 25 years, really, or thereabouts. But Champions League next season, is at least as big as a trophy this season, isn't it?
It is massive. It's absolutely huge. It was only 4 years ago we won it. You know, Chelsea won it. So it's not too distant memory for the fans. And I think for every club, really, that is sort of a big club, financially, you know, for owners, it is huge to get into the Champions League. And that's what these owners will be looking at, going, listen, we've spent a lot of money. We need to get back, clawing some money back by getting into the Champions League. But I think the starting point is being humble and trying to win this competition conference first, and then doing as well as they can in the Premier League. Those next few fixtures, Chelsea, Spurs, Brentford, if they can get results, that lifts the fans, because there is a bit of murmurings. But I think those are huge games. Whichever way you want to win it doesn't really matter. If you win it, I think win those games, those are big lifters for the fans as well.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we'll be the first club to complete the set of European trophies. That would be a tremendous honour, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and that'd be it'd be massive. It'd be big for the fan base. Chelsea fans are very proud of the fact that they're the only London side to have won the Champions League, you know, and so to do that as well, you know, it really sets the tone, because there's the London competition. But Ennie's right, you know, the Champions League is where it's at. The owners bought the club not to be in these competitions, but we're in it, so we'll respect it and we'll celebrate it like mad if we do win it, because it's difficult to win trophies in football. There's good teams everywhere trying to beat you. Every game's a battle. So. But ultimately, the amount of money that's been spent, the Champions League does take priority, in my opinion, getting back in there, because to improve this squad, you need to add quality. And one of the biggest sales to any of the top players in Europe is come and play for us. You're going to play on the top stage. You're going to play in the Champions League. If you haven't got that, it's very difficult. Manchester United, if they don't get there, will struggle to bring players in. Spurs will struggle to bring players in because they're not going to get there unless one of them wins the Europa League. So it's crucial. Otherwise, you know, players who've got the ticket to go anywhere in Europe, it's very difficult to bring them in because everyone wants to play in the Champions League.
Yeah, you want to give everybody a go, don't you, if you can, but he's got a balancing act now.
I think he's had a balancing act all season. And I think he's actually done a really good job of managing the squad, horses for courses, right? OK, this is, you know, the Premier League team, this is the Conference League team, obviously in the cup competitions as well. I think he's done a really good job of that. I think now bringing in someone like Cole Palmer for the conference to give it a boost, smart as well, I think that's good management as well. And giving the young players an opportunity. So it'll be interesting to see who's going to play over the next 3 games, big, massive London derbies. But I think all of these players now, in this sort of business end of the season, need to really step it up.
It looks like Legia Warsaw in the quarter-finals of the Conference League for Chelsea. They are noses in front into extra time against Molde. We'll find out in due course if that's confirmed. Rangers heading for penalties at Ibrox against Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce in the Europa League. United and Spurs through. But Chelsea, job done. Job done in here. Thank you very much, Mr. Cole.
Matthew,
we'll be
as always.
swatting up on Poland. Ennie, as always, a pleasure. Thank you for your company. Might not have been brilliant, but it's job done for Chelsea.